After listening to EsDeeKid's album Rebel, which dropped earlier this year, I couldn't help but notice how unique his vocals sound. And since there's literally zero information about his vocal production out there, I had no choice but to figure it out myself. So in today's video we are going to analyze EsDeeKid's vocals and try to recreate his vocal chain completely from scratch. The first time I really noticed how different his vocals sound was while listening to his track 5 AM with Fimi Guerrero. When Fimi Guerrero starts his verse, his vocals sit right in the center of the stereo image. Nothing special, just how most artists want their vocals to be. But when EsDeeKid's part comes in, something feels off in a good way. His vocals sound like they are floating around your head instead of just sitting in the middle. To make sure I wasn't imagining things, I isolated both of their vocals and threw a stereo imager on top, just to see what's actually going on. First, let's take a look at Fimi Guerrero's part. As you can see, most of the sound is sitting comfortably in the middle, with just a little bit spreading to the sides. Nothing new here. Now when we switch to EsDeeKid's vocals, things start looking different. The stereo imager suddenly looks like it's been hit by a bomb. Everything spread wide, and there's barely any volume in the middle. Which, by the way, is not at all how rap vocals usually look. So now that we've confirmed that EsDeeKid's vocals are basically living on the edges of the stereo field, let's try to recreate that effect ourselves. Here are the raw vocals I'll be using for this experiment.
Yo, I got the game plan, dog, that makes me the baller, the shot caller, dickhead, call me what you wanna.
If we check the stereo image now, they are sitting dead center, exactly how they would look like after recording. Alright, let's fix that and get into the vocal chain. Before we get the plugin that gives us that signature EsDeeKid whiteness, we'll start by cleaning things up. First, I used an EQ to cut out unnecessary low end and bring out some of the mids. Nothing fancy, just making the vocals sound less muddy. Then I added a compressor to tighten them up. I went with a fast attack and release to keep it subtle. We don't want to squash the life out of the vocals. Next up, my personal favorite, Fresh Air. It's like instant vocal polish. It boosts the high mids and highs, making any vocal sound 10 times cleaner. After that, I threw an OTT for some upward compression, but I made sure to dial the mix down, because it's really easy to overdo that plugin and end up with harsh vocals. All this brightness then goes into a vocal doubler, which basically makes it sound like we recorded 2 takes. Even though we only did 1. I cranked the separation to around 20%, which controls how tightly the fake double matches the main vocal. I liked it there, but I brought the mix down to around 60% just to keep the effect more subtle. Up to this point, our vocal chain still sounds pretty standard, and if we look at the stereo imager, the vocals are still very much centered. That's where Logic's stereo spread plugin comes in. I turned the order down to 9, and just like that, the vocals instantly spread wider. Check out how the stereo imager reacts when we turn the plugin on and off.
A dickhead, call me what you wanna. Bring drama, my words are my armor. I'm ripping Yorkshire, yeah, I ain't no farmer.
You can literally see the vocals stretching out to the left and right, just like EsDeeKid's. Now, when we compare the stereo image of EsDeeKid's vocals to ours, it's not a one-to-one match, but honestly, it's pretty close. And considering we built this chain from scratch, I'd say we did a solid job. Feel free to copy this vocal chain and tweak it to your liking. And if you've got other ideas or think you figured something out I didn't, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it or learned something new, make sure to like and subscribe. You know how it goes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.